Hey, hi. Hello, everyone. I'm Naval Yamul. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Data Master. In this video, we are going to discuss about the Lakeflow Declarative Pipeline with hands-on. So those who are new to my YouTube channel, I request you to please subscribe to my channel and share this video with your teammates and your colleagues, those who are looking for DLT or a declarative pipelines. Previously, this declarative pipeline was called as a delta live tables or simply a pipelines. So it's a completely declarative framework for data engineers to do a complete ETL. So you have so many benefits switching it to the pipelines. So I have made a separate playlist onto the delta live table in detail. So there is one playlist on production ready end-to-end delta live table pipelines. I strongly recommend you to go through these playlists if you are beginners onto the delta live tables. It was called as a delta live table, but now it's a declarative pipeline. And one of the beautiful thing is last week in the Data and AI Summit, Databricks have made this declarative pipelines as an open source. They have donated to the Apache Foundation. So definitely when a data engineer is looking for a ETL, now they would adopt for this declarative pipeline as it has become an open source. So the UI is also changed. If you are looking at my previous videos, there the Delta Live table UI was older one, but now they have upgraded it. Now there are so many things here. So in simple words, DLT is for data engineers to do a complete ETL. There are so many benefits switching it to the declarative pipelines. So one of it is you can simplify batch and streaming both, and you can do a completely automated built-in data quality checks. So if you are looking for avoiding the null values, if you are looking for avoiding the corrupt records, null records, duplicate records, yeah, you can do all that by using a simple constraints. And if you are implementing CDC data, if you want to handle change data capture and implement SCD type 1, that is slowly changing dimension type 1, slowly changing dimension type 2, it becomes so easy by using this declarative framework. And there are so many benefits. Now this is a completely new UI where you can just write your SQL scripts or Python scripts. Your declarative framework supports either Python or SQL, as it's mostly dedicated for the data engineers. It supports Python and SQL. You just write your scripts here, and on the right side you get a complete pipeline graph. So previously we had different UIs, like go for the delta live table and then write a scripts in the notebook, but now the UI is completely changed and it's so amazing. In few minutes we'll touch on to those UI part, and we are going to do all that in a free edition, Databricks free edition. So people, those who do not know what is free edition, Databricks have upgraded their community edition to free edition. I have made a separate video on that, you can check that. So we are going to implement this declarative framework in our free edition. So you can see the customers, those who are getting benefited with this intelligent data pipelines. And if I just scroll down, you can see these are the features you can build to simplify your data pipelines. You can unify batch and streaming. You can build an end-to-end incremental processing. So this is based on top of your structure streaming, autoloader, and so on. You can load the data from all the data sources. Now it supports so many data sources, you can see it, and it's completely automated data quality checks by setting up some expectations using a constraint. You can do all the data quality automation. And if you are talking about integrated pipeline development, yeah, you can do this by using this declarative framework. There are so many features, you can just go through this. Now let us jump on to do the hands-on on the declarative framework in the Databricks free edition. So I have just logged into my Databricks free edition, and you can see you have a pipeline option here. If you just click on the pipeline, you will be redirecting it to the workflow pipelines. So this is one way how we can redirect it. Or the second way is you can go to the workflows. In the workflows, again, you have jobs and pipelines, but our focus for today's video will be on the pipelines. So you can just go and hit on create. So you have couple of options here. One is workflow jobs, second is ETL pipeline, and third one is ingestion pipeline. Ingestion pipeline is a different topic, the way we ingest the data by using a Databricks native connectors or by using a few connectors like Fivetran and so on. We will talk about ingestion pipeline later on, but now we are going to build our own pipeline or a ETL pipeline using Python or SQL. So I'll just click on this. If you are opening this at the first time, it will ask you whether you want a new UI. You can just enable it, and once you enable it or once you say okay, it will take you to this page. So the first thing is you need to mention your pipeline name. So I'll just mention it. This pipeline is for my YouTube video. Okay, pipeline, this is for YouTube. And you can see whatever pipeline you are creating, you will be writing a SQL scripts, and whatever the tables you create inside that pipeline, you will be saving it to a catalog or a schema. So you need to choose your catalog. In my case, I do not have the other catalog. I have the catalog name as workspace, and I have the schemas, for example, default, bronze, gold, silver, and so on. I'll keep it default now, but you can choose your own catalog and you can choose your own schema. Then you can just click on this to start with a sample code with SQL or sample code in Python. You can choose any of this, but I'll go with the sample data now. You can see here, start with the single transformation. I'll just click on it, and the moment I click on it, it will ask you, okay, I'll be providing you a sample data. I mean, Databricks is providing you a sample data, and it will take this location. And which language would you prefer, whether a Python or SQL? First, I'll go with SQL, and I'll just click on select. And the moment you click on select, inside a workspace in your user ID, there will be one folder getting created with a name called pipeline YouTube. And in that pipeline YouTube, once you open it, you get these all new UI. You can see pipeline YouTube is my folder, and you get that folder in the pipeline. You can see here you have a workspace, and in the workspace you have your pipelines, and one of my pipeline name is pipeline YouTube. I've just clicked on it, and this is like my workspace where I get my transformation.sql, so where you write all your SQL scripts here. And this is a new editor. As I mentioned it, it's a new editor. So this is just like your workspace. You can navigate to the all files option here, or you can navigate to the pipelines. So all files is whatever the folders or whatever the git folders and files you have created, you can access it from here. Okay, I'll just minimize this so I get some more space. Cool. And you have a pipeline also. In pipeline, you can see you have a pipeline YouTube. In that, I have a transformation folder, or I would say again a pipeline. Then in that, I have a my transformation.sql where you write all your SQL scripts here. And if you are coming from our previous videos of DLT, you should see it looks very similar, where you can do a settings here. The UI is changed again. If you click on the settings, you get all the pipeline settings. The moment you create a pipeline, you create a pipeline ID, unique pipeline ID, and it says that, hey, come on, it's a ETL pipeline. And you can see the pipeline name. You can edit it from here, and I'm the creator. And you can see where's the code assets. It shows you the root folder and the source code. You can change the source code later on as well, and even you can change the catalog name and schema name also. And in the free edition, we do not have all purpose compute and the job compute, but if it would be your enterprise account, you can choose the compute, either a only job compute. You do not have an option for the all purpose compute in the pipelines. You might be knowing that, but let us keep it as serverless. And here you have an option called dependencies. Like if it's a job compute, do you want any dependencies, you can add it here. You can set up some additional configurations. You can set up tags and a budget, your serverless budget policies, and so on. And you have some advanced options as well, where you can see your pipeline mode is triggered and your pipeline user mode is development. So we have discussed all that in our previous videos. You can just have a note of that. So this is all about the pipeline settings. You can take a look on the JSON view also, or a UI view also. I'll just cancel this. This is about the settings. Here you have schedule. So you can schedule this pipeline. There are options like schedule trigger. You can schedule it every day, every minute, every hour, and so on. Or you can go with your cron syntax also. You can just go to the cron syntax and you can mention your cron, and it will be scheduled according to that. And you can mention the timestamp depending upon the time zone you have it, and then click on create. So this is about the scheduling. Then if you are working with your teammates, if you are working on the enterprise account, you can share this with your teammates, your colleagues, and so on. You can mention a group, or even you can mention a principal, and you can just give a permission, like they can manage it, or they can be the owner of the pipeline, or they can just view it or run it, and so on. Okay, this is where you can share it. And here you have a dry run, so it checks all the definitions and the types without creating or updating any tables. So it's just a dry run. It will run it, it will check your syntax, it will check everything, but you won't able to create a tables. So you can do a dry run, and once you are comfortable with it, then you can go and run a pipeline. The moment you run a pipeline, then the tables will be created inside those schemas. So we mentioned the schemas when we created a pipeline. Inside that, the tables will be created. So you can just click on these three dots, and here you have a full refresh option also. Like full refresh is like just truncating all the records you created and then reloading it again. So at the initial stage, in the development stage, it's absolutely fine to do a full refresh. But when you are in the production, when you have loaded tons of your data, if you have loaded GBs of data, TBs of data, then doing a full refresh at that time is not a good practice. So you can see full refresh is available here. And this is your pipeline graph. Now you can navigate to here, left and right. So to get some more space, you can just close this tab. Yeah, this is all your scripting. So if you remember a few minutes back, I've shown you this UI where we write all your SQL scripts here, and here you get your pipeline graph. So in few minutes, we are also writing few scripts from the sample data, and then we are going to check the pipeline graph. It looks very similar. Okay, here we write it, and on the right side, you get a graph. You get few options here, like a pipeline graph, or if you have any comments, you can comment it here. And the version history also mentioned here. We haven't written any scripts here, so there would be no version history. But as we keep on developing it, you get a complete version history in the pipeline itself. I'll switch to the pipeline graph. Then coming to the bottom, here you have all the insights. Once you run it, once you run a pipeline, you will see the tables, you will see the data of the tables, and even you will see the performance and logs. Everything is tracked under this tab. Okay, so I'll just minimize it, and now I'll try to bring the data, that is a sample data, and then I'll try to run it. So I'll just go to my workspace in a new tab, and okay, so I have a pipeline, a sample pipeline, where I have just created a transformation. So yes, I have two tabs here, two files, I would say SQL files. Yeah, this is a simple, I'm creating a materialized view. Yeah, so okay, I'll just show you. So I'm creating a sample trip pipeline by using a sample data. I'll just copy this, I'll come back and I'll paste it here. Okay, so I am referring samples. So if you are using a free edition, Databricks gives you free samples in their catalogs. I mean, in the catalog you get one samples, you get some free data sets. You can start using those free data sets. You can see here samples. In samples we have New York, there are so many samples, but we are referring to New York taxi trip database, and in that we have a trips table. Okay, so we are referring that. Based on that, we are just picking up two columns, two fields. One is pickup zip and second is the fare amount from this table, and whatever the results we get it, like two fields, we are going to create a materialized view. So when you are working on the Delta Live table, there are actually three types of data sets. First one is streaming table. If you have a streaming use case, we generally talk about streaming table. Second is materialized view. Now whatever I'm creating is a materialized view. So it stores all the recent snapshot of your data and stores it in the cache. So the retrieval would be super fast compared to a normal view. So I have explained in detail about those all. So you can check it. And the third type of data set is view, a normal view. So you can create three data sets into your pipelines. But now we'll keep it as a materialized view only, and I'll just click on run a pipeline. So before you run it, you can do a dry run. You can just run, just do a dry run, and whatever the pipeline configuration or whatever is happening, everything you can check it under the tables or the logs tab. Okay, so it will take few seconds because your serverless compute has to spin. Yeah, serverless takes very less time as compared to the all purpose compute or a job compute. So we'll wait for a few more seconds, and once it's run, it will show you the graph that everything is perfectly fine. you can go and do a full run. Okay, so I just clicked onto the workflow now, and this is taking a long time now uh, because we are using a free edition. So maybe the serverless in the community in the free edition is taking a bit more than longer than expected. Usually serverless takes only few seconds to spin it, but okay, till the compute spins we will wait for it. So I'll just come to the workflow, and you can see there is one pipeline called pipeline YouTube, and pipeline is there, everything looks fine. I'll just click on it and I'll show you the UI. So this is how our delta live table UI looks like. So this is very similar to what we have seen in our previous versions. So yeah, we are doing a dry run update here, and we are waiting for the resources. This should take very less time, but I don't know, maybe we are using a free edition. To allot resources, it is taking a longer time. And you can see all the logs are fine here. You can see who started this compute and how it was called. It was by API call, and it is waiting for the resources. So once it's waiting for the resources, it will go to initialize it, and then you will able to see the graph. So the UI what we were working on it few minutes back is different than this, but it's very similar. I mean, if you go to the workflow, you can see this, and inside this you have an option called edit pipeline. Can you see that? The moment you click on edit pipeline, it will take you to that newer UI, whatever the UI we were working on it. So you will get the same UI now. So okay, the moment you click on that edit pipeline, you get the same one now. Here you can see it is waiting for the resources. The older UI showed you the steps. The second step, we were stuck in the second step called waiting for the resources, and you can see the pipeline graph and everything. So this is a new UI, and this is our older UI. If you click on edit pipeline, it will take you to the new UI. Here you have an option called development and production. So development means your compute keeps on running after your task is completed. It remains active for a few hours. If it's a all purpose if it's a job compute, we cannot use a all purpose compute here. If it's a job compute, if I switch to the production, it will execute the task and it will immediately terminate the compute. Okay, so that is the difference between development and production. You have a settings option here. The moment you click on the settings, you get a pop-up window. It looks very similar to whatever settings we have seen it in our newer tab here. Okay, new tab here. So it looks very similar. Okay, so now I don't know how much time this this step takes. So we'll wait for a few minutes and then we'll continue. Yeah, here you go. So your materialized view, I mean, it was created. It was a dry run, but yeah, your compute is started now. You can see your compute is started, your compute spin, and it got completed now. So this took about 5 to 6 minutes. In your enterprise account, if you are using a serverless, it won't take this much time. It takes just 5 seconds, 10 seconds to spin the compute and then run this pipeline. But in the free edition, it is taking a more longer time. Okay, no worries. You can see your pipeline is here. Now I'll just go to the newer tab, and you can see your graph looks something like this. Okay, now my compute is on. Now it doesn't take much time. So on top of this sample trip pipeline, I would like to create one more view, that is a materialized view on top of this. So I have the script called sample zone pipeline, and I'll be referring the sample trip pipelines. I'll copy this. I'll just come and paste it here in the same scripting here. I'll just minimize this. I'll put a colon. I'll end this. So this was my first script. Few minutes back we have ran it. This is our second script. Simple. We are referring a sample trip pipeline. So yes, if I select it, yeah, we are referring this table, or it's a materialized view, and we are doing a grouping based on the zip code. We are just doing a grouping, and we are doing an aggregation for the sum of the fair amount. So when I run this, two tables will be created. Actually, it's two materialized views. One would be sample trip pipeline, and on top of this we are creating a sample zone pipeline. So previously we used to use a keyword called live to make a dependencies between these two, but now it has become so intelligent, we really don't need to use those keywords, and we don't need to mention the dependencies also. It's intelligent, automatically the dependencies will happen now. So if I run this again, I'll do a dry run for a moment. I'll just do a dry run. Yeah, it's done now. Can you see this? So your pipeline graph has created. You can zoom this, you can zoom out, and both are materialized view. So we first created a sample trip pipeline from the New York taxi trip dataset. It's a materialized view. On top of it, we created one more view called sample zone pipelines. And look at these dependencies. So it's so simple if you compare it to the traditional one where we used to use a PySpark data frame style or maybe SQL style. We used to read the data, do the transformation, then write it. But now it's so easy. Just we can use a streaming data set or a materialized view data set, and it's all declarative framework. So that's the reason why it is called as a declarative framework. So two views are created, but it was a dry run. Now I'll do a full run. I tested this few minutes back, so that's the reason why I'm not doing a full run. I'll go back and delete those tables. Okay, first I'll delete it and then we can run that. Okay, I'll just check it in the default. Yeah, you can see here I already created those. So I'll just take a moment. I'll try to drop this. Okay, I'll just try to delete this. I'll do it for the sample zone also, or I would have changed the name. It would be fine, but no worries. I'll just drop it. Yeah, I'll come back now. I'll come back. Yeah, this was my newer pipeline. Oh, not this. Sorry. I guess, yeah, this one now. Okay, few minutes back. Okay, so I will explain you about all this tables tab, performance tab in few minutes. Let us try to run this pipeline now. I'll just try to run it. It won't take much time now because your computer is already spinning up and it attached to the pipeline. In few seconds, this will set up all the tables whichever available in the pipeline, and it's done. Amazing. So you can see it's creating a sample trip pipeline table, and then the second one is sample zone pipeline, which is depending on the first table or a first zone. Okay, so you get all the metadata, you get all the details here in the below tab. You can see how many seconds it took overall, and you can check the query performance of it. If you click on the first table, it shows you which catalog, which schema, what would be the type of this table, and how many seconds it took, and second table also. Now if I click on any one of this graph, if I click on this graph, now you get so much of information. Previously this was not possible. We used to go to the newer notebook and then write a SQL script there to pull out all the details, but now you don't need to do all that. The moment you click on the graph or a table, it shows you the data tab. Yeah, we were talking about two fields. We picked up the two fields and you can see it here, two fields, and you can see when was the table was updated last time. You can check here. You can do a refresh from here. You can do a full refresh. You can check the complete table matrix from here and the performance. So again, this is a newer tab. It will show you like how much seconds it took, how many records got read, how much data of the bytes got read, and how much it's written. You can check everything. So if you click on it, it will show you the complete query profiling. So if you click on this, it will show you a complete query profile. You can check it from here or you can check it from here, like what happened for the first step, then the second step got shuffled, then the right into, then finally we got a results query stage. You get everything. You can see the time spent, memory peak, the records, and so on. Okay, so everything can be checked on this performance tab. Then you have a data tab. Just now I've shown you. Cool. You can click onto the second table or a second materialized view. Now you can see all the pickup zone. We have done a group by based on the pickup zone, and then we have done the aggregation on top of it. So if I click on the previous materialized view, there were more than 10,000 records. Now you can see more than 1,000 plus records data got truncated here. But if I click on this, you can see 128 rows. So the grouping has happened, but you can check the data here itself. And obviously for this table or for this materialized view, you can check its you can check the table metrics, you can check the performance, and you can check everything. So in this way, you can start developing or you can start building up a complete end-to-end pipeline by using this delta live table. It was called as a delta live table, but now it's called as a Lakeflow declarative pipelines. So you can just keep on writing a script here, or if you say no, I'll maintain two different scripts, that's absolutely fine. You can go to the workspace, and at the pipeline level you can start creating a new folder or a new file that will be either SQL or Python. But now we were working on SQL, so it's better to use a SQL file, and then you can just keep on running the pipelines. So you will get a lot of details here. You can see the pipeline configuration. You can click on settings, and you can add a newer source codes from here. So if you like, now we have just added the transformation folder. Within that transformation folder, like if I have 1 2 3 4 files, it will pick up everything. Suppose if you have in other folder, that's also fine. You can just click on add the new source code paths here. Okay, you can check all the pipeline settings here. You can schedule it from here as well, and here you get all the monitoring, like how many seconds it took to execute, and what when it was happened, and you can check all the monitoring in this monitoring page. So let me click on that monitoring page. It will take me to the pipeline. It is the older UI again. You can check the details about these two in a graph view, in the list view, and if you click on this run, it will show you all the list of runs that had happened previously and how much second it took and so on. You can check everything in the event log also. Okay, and if you go to the workflow tab, even it shows you the details, like okay, pipeline YouTube, that pipeline we created just now. You can just hover your cursor, it shows you everything, what was the last ID and the update ID, and when it was ran, or what was the creation date and time. It shows everything. So that's how your pipeline can be created by using a sample data. If you want me to implement an end-to-end capstone project or end-to-end real-time project by using this delta live table, please comment it. This video was just help you how the declarative pipeline UI looks like, a quick walkthrough on all that, and by using a sample data I have just shown you how to create a materialized view. So if you want an end-to-end, how the streaming tables are created, and then how the materialized views are created, how the joins happen, end-to-end complete data engineering project can be done by using these pipelines. If you want it, please comment me in the description. Please comment it, and please like the video, and then that motivates me to create the next video. So if you can see here, we can maintain a medallion architecture here, from bronze to silver, silver to gold. We can do everything in this declarative framework. Okay, so if you want an end to end, please comment it, like the video, and share it with your friends. So that's all for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching this. So if you like it, please subscribe to my channel and like this video. Thank you very much. See you in the next video. Bye bye.